I shot a bunch of video and I didn't do an introduction and I didn't do a recap. I just shot a bunch of video of me working on the front end of the car. So I started out on the driver's side piece of trim on the front, and through here I'm just basically redoing what I did on the other one. I'm not real good at this. However, I've had Dan take a look at the end product and he says that it looks better. So I guess it's worthwhile, but boy, I mean, I spend a whole bunch of time on both the, just sanding and beating with a hammer, tapping with a hammer, really, because you're only tapping this stuff with a hammer. This piece of trim and sanding it and then buffing it on the buffing wheel and then taking steel wool to give it a shine back. And well, like I say, I'm not real good at it, but there you go. So we get to where we start putting it back up on the car, and that's enough of working on trim. I had a bunch of structural issues with the front end. I found out that there was some bracing that was missing. I think I'm going to have to remake those or see if I can. But there was a reason that the wheel well on the passenger side wasn't holding up real close to the fender, and that the fender itself actually kind of warped out as a result of that, lacking that brace. So we'll make one of those, and I've got to put some sealant or sealer, I don't know, a gasket, what have you, between that fender well and the fender itself, so that the road dust and what have you doesn't get so easily into the engine compartment per se. We got some degradation here. I had to actually cut where you see my foot there, and I've got to put a new nut in there. So there's areas on the rockers that need to be replaced. With the new welder, I will be able to do that, I think, handily with sheet metal and have nice welds in there. So lifted this thing up, and on the passenger side we end up taking this thing apart and doing an assessment and finding out that there's all kinds of issues that I need to resolve, and that's kind of what we're doing here. We're just taking that side apart. So there were some bolts that were actually, two of them, on the driver passenger side fender that were actually broken or twisted off. And here you see me just trying to repair that by drilling it out and tapping out or chasing the threads back into where a bolt will need to just bolt into that fender to hold things into place. And here I'm taking the end of the fender well, or the wheel well, and it's got some distortion to it, needs to be repaired, reattached. There'll be some nuts that'll actually have to get into this, so I'll be welding this with the new laser welder. That's pretty much what we got done today. Thanks again, folks. Appreciate you watching. We'll catch up with you next time. Bye now.